You're listening to the Everyday Astrology Podcast. I am Hilary Scott, and I am here to talk about the summer solstice. The solstices and the equinox are the power points of the year. So it is a wonderful time of year to up your game, get in touch with your own personal power, to really be in tune with what makes you as a person happy, and also how to kind of nourish your foundations, especially because the summer solstice happens when the sun moves into Cancer, and it's a very nourishing, nurturing, protective in a way. You want to kind of stay near the home front and make sure you're watching over all your creations. It doesn't have to be like the hard work of spring, because spring is often very, very busy. We're leaving like the Gemini energy behind. And Gemini is just very busy. It's a very heady, communicative. Gemini is very happy to be like a butterfly, going here, going there, and often sort of in close proximity to where you originally are from. So like your neighborhood and your community. It's great for chit chat and friendships and factoids and new information, and your mind is very hungry and fast, and you can get so much done. There's just this like sort of surge of the spring energy, and you can see that at least in the northern hemisphere when you watch all the plants grow and everything is so much more vigorous and no longer in the sleep of winter. So that's kind of what's happened to us too. Especially in the northern hemisphere where the sun is closest. Obviously in the southern hemisphere, it's the opposite. They're kind of experiencing the lack of sun. But at the solstice, it's the shortest day for them and the longest day for us. So we're going to start, I'm in the northern hemisphere. So wherever you are, but it goes from this point, it will start to get shorter days. So we're at the very height of the solar sort of yang energy. And then now it will start to diminish. So it's interesting. It's a good place in time to check in. We're halfway through the year according to the typical calendar that we use. But really, astrologically, we're just had one season so far since spring happened, when the beginning began. So we're sort of now can see, okay, what did we plant? Do we have any little sprouts coming up? What do we need to nourish? But also very much with yourself, like what do you need to tap into your own sort of individuality, your sun? What does your sun need to do to shine? It's a good time to take stock of that. And also to kind of, it's super interesting that there's all these places in the world that line up like these big ornate is even sort of an understatement, but like monolithic rock formations and Stonehenge and pyramids, and all over the world. There's these mysterious structures that we can't seem to understand how they were built. We have ideas, but nobody really knows for sure. And they're all lined up with the solstices and the equinoxes and the special power points of the year, which I find fascinating. I have a Scorpio moon though, so I love me a mystery, but it's interesting that such massive, mysterious structures would have been built by someone, and they are lined up perfectly with the energies of these dates, the solstices and the equinoxes, this changing of the seasons, really, when things start shifting. It's also fascinating. There's all kinds of different theories about what's going on as the seasons change, and what triggers the seasons to change, and what's sort of like driving the whole thing. It's very interesting. A theory I came across recently, in the last maybe 3 years, is that the sun and the moon are like positive and negative polarities, and it's like a big timepiece. So the whole sky with all the zodiac signs, and it's split into 30 degrees. Each sign, there's 12 times 30 degrees. And the sun and the moon move through these. The sun takes a month to move through each sign. The moon does it in like 2.5 days. So the moon's moving it laps the sun, but it's a timepiece essentially. And as the summer solstice happens, the sun is circling very close over the northern hemisphere. If Polaris is the center, which you can look up and see I guess only if you're in the northern hemisphere. Interesting. But Polaris is the center of the sort of the sky, and the sun and everything move around it. It never changes. So it's interesting when it's the summertime, it's very tight and close in the northern hemisphere. So here in the northern hemisphere, we have spring and everything is growing and it's warm and it's lovely. And then but it's far away from the southern hemisphere because it's like circling close and tight. So they've got like less warmth than normal. And now that it's shifting and it's going to change directions, it's circling back to the southern hemisphere, and our days will get shorter and their days will get longer. And it's just an interesting theory. It makes a lot of sense to me that it's like we can see it with our own eyes, that it's all circling above us in a very rhythmic and predictable way. We have records going back eons about the movement, and it's very precise timing. So this seems like it must be some very specific design plan going on here with the astrology and with the way the planets and the sun and the moon move throughout the sky. I find it so fascinating. Be aware of where you're at in life. Get your journal out and write down what you want to create. Do the SMART goals where you can like plan it and measure it and name it. And that way you can make some progress on it. Like that's something I've had to learn lately. I'm in this program, which is a government funded program, and which is super cool, which is unlikely. It seems kind of crazy, but I'm like doing this entrepreneurial training, which has been super helpful because I've been sort of running my own show for years, but never feeling like I had any real foundation. So it's been a really big learning curve while I've taken a break from podcasting and writing, because I'm doing this other learning that's been very foundational, but also in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm trying to tame a wild horse. I'm like, it's hard to like rein myself in and like become as specific as I need to be. So interesting. So on the solstice, it's lovely if you can spend time in the sun, garden, ground yourself, be aware of what you need to do to take care of yourself. And if you take care of yourself, and what you need, and nourish and nurture your home and yourself and your fluff up your nest, you will be strong and healthy and feeling good when we move into the winter season, when our resources are more sparse. So if you could write things down, that's good. Make sure you get out and enjoy nature. Find birds. My hummingbirds have returned. I went and bought a plant, a fuchsia. I don't know if you know what a fuchsia, it's like a shade-loving plant. It has these like different colors, but often sort of bell-shaped, really pretty, dangly, drapey kind of flowers that hummingbirds love. And I got one of those, and then hummingbirds came back. So all is not lost. I've got some hummingbirds in the yard and a cheeky, what are those guys called with a blue jay, but it's not a blue jay. It's like a different kind here. Anyway, there's been lots of nature around, and nature feels so good if you can get out in it on a non-polluted sky kind of day. It's a really good time to level up, to step into like a more joyful presence in your own life. Because when we feel joyful, and when we're happy and when we're doing what we love and feeling good, then that vibration, it's just easier for other people to access as well. So protect your peace and make sure that the people around you are on your team and that you feel loved and nurtured. And maybe if you're not close to your own family, you've created a family for yourself out of lovely friends. The solstice will happen on the 20th when the sun moves into Cancer, and the full moon in Capricorn is on the 21st. The same day as the solstice, the sun and Neptune will be squaring each other, which can leave you feeling confused and not clear about all the details, or overwhelmed, or this muddled, fuzzy, foggy kind of Neptunian energy. It can also be relating to some sort of deception, or like where nothing is as it seems. So keep that in mind. There's that energy playing into this solstice energy as well. So it's quite powerful. make sure that you are grounded and that you give yourself a break. Like maybe you do just need to chill out and not put a lot of accomplishment pressure on yourself. Let yourself sort of float around the day and go with the flow, and maybe have a bath or go swimming, something to do with water in a soothing and nurturing a way, especially because the sun moving into Cancer loves a hot bath and loves cozy, nourishing, emotional energy. Maybe you need to watch some sad stuff just to get your own feelings moving. Some sort of like sad animal video always works for me. Did an animal get in a dangerous situation? Then I'm sad. So find a way for yourself to just feel all your feelings. Cancer wants us to feel our feelings. It's not asking us to hide what we feel, like the Capricorn energy can sometimes demand. We do have the Capricorn full moon happening on the 21st, the same day Mercury is sextiling Mars. So we should kind of feel clearer. Our energy is going to be strong. We're going to be able to like tick a lot of things off of our to-do list. That Mars energy will help you feel like you've got some fire to burn and that you can get things done. And then the Capricorn energy is very forward seeing, very much looking to create lasting benefit and invest its energy wisely and practically and I guess lucratively. So be aware of what you're putting your energy into, how you're spending your money. Maybe there's places that you can, maybe you have a big car payment that is actually cutting into your security or your sense of security. Maybe you can go buy yourself a used car and not have such a big car payment, or little things like that can be very helpful. And you might have the foresight to see that kind of stuff going on with the Capricorn energy. So anywhere you can tighten up your budget, or because it just feels good to be in control of that. Also, alternatively, Capricorn does like finer things in life. So expensive things can be sought after because I guess it's the fruits of hard work ultimately for many people. So with the Capricorn moon, do make your list, make your 5-year plan. Even if it changes, at least you've gotten an idea down on paper, because if you write your goals down, then they're real. You can help create them and measure them and see where you're at and how far you've come. And it's very, I guess, heartening and encouraging when you see how much effort you put in and how far you've come. That Capricorn moon is also going to be good for any kind of just business stuff. Business, practical, legacy planning, land acquisition, investments that might come up. But be careful because there is that fuzzy Neptunian energy is around. It's still in the house. It should be interesting to see what plays out. But it is a very important time of year. And I wanted to come back here and have a little touch base and talk about the solstice so you didn't miss this PowerPoint. And then in the next 3 months, we're going to have the fall. So enjoy this season, enjoy summer, enjoy, like in your joy, do things that feel good and take care of yourself and nurture yourself and your loved ones and your family, and write things down. I always just like write it down so you know where you've come and how far you've been. And that is all I'm going to say today. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for listening. And I will be back again to talk more astrology not long in the future. Listen, I'm so non-committal. I'm still in this non-committal phase right now where I'm focusing on other things. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I appreciate you coming back and having a listen, and I'll keep you posted. So many blessings, much love, and go forth and prosper.